Are the protests spontaneous or are they very carefully orchestrated? Protesters angered allegedly by an anti-Islamic film made in the US stormed the grounds of the American embassy, this time in the Yemeni capital of Sana'a. This is the third such incident in the last 48 hours, and it sparked questions whether this chaos is being orchestrated on the 11th anniversary of 9/11 terrorist attacks. Who's behind these protests? Police shot in the air in an attempt to hold back the crowd, but failed to prevent them from gaining access to the US embassy compound in Sana'a and setting fire to vehicles there. A number of people have now been injured, some detained. Security forces, reinforcements in Sana'a used tear gas, water cannon and live fire to push back the surging protesters. They've now regained control of the US embassy compound in Sana'a, but protests are still continuing outside the embassy compound. On Wednesday, the US ambassador to Libya was killed in a fire that started after the US consulate in Benghazi, Libya's second city in the east, was stormed. Three pictures you see on your television screen: Sana'a today, Cairo and Benghazi yesterday and day before. Earlier on Thursday, US officials said they were investigating whether the attack in Libya was pre-planned, citing suspicion that a terrorist group may have coordinated this violence. 3 other US consul staff and several Libyans were also killed in this attack, along with Ambassador Christopher Stevens, who is believed to have died, some say of smoke inhalation, others say when his vehicle was targeted as he tried to leave the embassy, the consulate in Benghazi. US President Barack Obama has promised to bring the killers of Chris Stevens to justice. 2 US destroyers and a team of US Marines has been dispatched to the region to protect US interests in the region.
You're serving overseas on our behalf. Despite the dangers, despite the risks, to help one of the world's youngest democracies get on its feet. And we are mindful of their sacrifice, and we want to send out heartfelt prayers to their loved ones who grieve today. So tonight, let's think of them and thank them. As for the ones we lost last night, I want to assure you we will bring their killers to justice. And we want to send a message all around the world: anybody who would do us harm, no act of terror will dim the light of the values that we proudly shine on the rest of the world, and no act of violence will shake the resolve of the United States of America.
And Ambassador Chris Stevens' death in Libya has caused outrage in America. Stevens helped save Libya's eastern city of Benghazi during last year's revolution. US and NATO warplanes helped the Benghazi-based rebellion and the leaders overthrow Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi in August last.
This was an attack by a small and savage group, not the people or government of Libya. Our hearts break over each one. And now, because of this tragedy, we have new heroes to honor and more friends to mourn. And last night, when I spoke with the president of Libya, he strongly condemned the violence and pledged every effort to protect our people and pursue those responsible.
There is no place in the civilized world for senseless murder like has occurred last night. Ambassador Stevens and his colleagues are not only mourned by Americans, they're also mourned by the vast majority of the Libyan people who they fought for, whose freedom they helped accomplish.
I think it's a terrible course for America to stand in apology for our values. That instead, when our grounds are being attacked and being breached, that the first response of the United States must be outrage at the breach of the sovereignty of our nation. And apology for America's values is never the right course.
It is a sad day in my life. I know Chris personally. He's my tennis partner. He comes to my house. We have breakfast together. I know him for more than 6 years. He's maybe the first American diplomat to arrive to Tripoli, to Benghazi after the revolution. He very welcomed by the people. He visited the Libyans, he eat with them, he sit with them, and he's very enthusiastic about this relation. It is a great lose for us. We lose him before the Americans. He was the right man for the right position for the right time.